forward nasicetha nje leyo session, then she's like, do you have a passport? And I'm like, yes, I do. Tomorrow we're going to Pretoria. And I'm like, what?
Uzange suspect nje ukuthi
Good. Like, you know, when I just met her, unfortunately, something happened in the car. He became touchy, and
the manager.
Yeah,
Right.
he locked the doors, and I just went.
EMIHLE, how are you?
Ngiyaphila njani siya?
Ngiyaphila nami. I will take this opportunity ngikuchazela ukuthi iYoung and the Brave ingani and why are you here?
Okay.
So iYoung and the Brave, it's a show that centers mostly youth. A mandate to go attend my youth affairs and to empower the youth by balancing abantu labafana nabo EMIHLE who are doing something about their youth, who are doing something about their life. So being young and being brave and doing something that can change not just your life but someone else's life. And EMIHLE, cela ungitshele nge-experience yakho nje ukuthi how did you feel getting the call or a message let's say you are invited to be our very first guest to go Young and the Brave?
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. But coming back to the call, I had a lot of questions. I was nervous, panicking, and like when you are someone like a guest. By the way, I do have a podcast which is called Youth Affairs. So Nyalo, I'm the one who's supposed to be the guest, and I'm sitting. You have to ask, like.
But it's the same thing you make the other person go through.
Yeah. My brother showed me nervous. I be like, we ask. So yeah. But otherwise, thank you for the opportunity. Hopefully someone will be helped. Hopefully there will be a great impact to the people.
Okay, EMIHLE, before you were told why you? Why go to come to the show and now nje Young and Brave?
I'm the one who's supposed to ask you that.
Yes, but you have ideas. Meaning, if I get a call from you, okay, it's EMIHLE, then you tell me something. My ideas are me. Before you actually tell me, what's going on?
Okay, what I actually liked or what made me to even say yes, it's the fact that you said young and brave. I'm someone who works kakulu with the youth. So youth, it's something which is inside of me, and Goya Chablisa when there are young people who are trying to draw other young people to something. We are not just sitting down, the young people dying out there, young people doing bad things about their lives. So to me, it was something which I said, oh, it's interesting and something which is nice. Hopefully we will bring a change to the people, because I will say you do something and go better na the change lane.
Okay, to be quite honest, okay, we're not going to be young forever. That's for sure.
True.
And I was just sitting I mean, this is a time whereby we need to decide what kind of people we want to be in the near future, of which the near future is not so far. So and seeing what most of us are doing, I can already tell wasted. not to say I'm judging people, not to say judging people, but I can tell. Well, we're not living in times those who came before us. True. That being our parents and their parents as well. Because Batalbev inherited something from their parents, and kushintsha kwe-economy kushintsha kwetintfo, they ended up depleting lawo resources about for the battle babo.
Yeah.
And we're the generation that's getting nothing. We're only getting smartphones. The only thing they can get us is the smartphones. La base now, they are not a legacy or something. This thing can die anytime.
Yeah, true.
So what are you doing with the time? That's what I ended up asking myself and saying, what am I doing to build the near future? And because we are growing, we are doing all that, things that were not being done before us. So I even felt like you could see we are approaching a new era whereby after a generation yet, there will be a whole new starting afresh. We economy we will learn the hard way and we
Yeah.
will have to rebuild from that. If you are young and you are brave and you are wise, that's a gift or it's a blessing because when you have something to start on. I'm telling you, because see, nale difference iba inkulu kakhulu. Those who are taking advantage of the situation, when they are getting more better, and those who are not taking advantage of are getting worse.
Worse,
So
true.
there will be that very decline between poverty and unless will be able to channel the government, you would see introduce some grants and all that, then we are living of that. Basically, wow, will be captured unknowingly or knowingly. So sesikhulume kangako nje cela sitshele ukuthi ngibani Emihle. Who is Emihle?
Oh, okay. EMIHLE is actually a young girl from Manzini, specifically at Saiti Tantwini. Ngikhule khona. I was born there, raised there. Mom and dad, but unfortunately, my dad passed away 2011.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And to me, I'd say Gogoti, in as much as it was a painful
Are you
thing.
still in primary or you're in high
I was
school?
11 years old, primary.
You said 2011?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Okay. Anyway, sorry to be that calculating. No, it just hit me.
But anyways, yeah, I was 11 years old. In as much as it was painful, but to me, it became a blessing in disguise.
Oh, yeah.
Reason being is because that was when I actually found out Kwaguti, I can actually write. I'm a poet.
Oh, okay.
And to me, to even discover that, I was actually writing Buhlungu Bami of losing my father. And happened one day, Kwaguti, at school, I was supposed to submit homework. Then I submitted the poetry book by mistake. Yeah, it was a mistake. And Mr. Dlamini Temgosi, who still usafundisa St. Michael's Primary, he actually got hold of the exercise and he called me. We're like, why did you submit this? And I had to explain, oh, it's a mistake and all that. But then he was laughing, all happy. Okay, why? Then he said, do you know what you're writing? It's actually poetry. And I had to ask, what is poetry?
Oh, wow.
I didn't know. He had to explain.
What grade at that time?
I was doing grade 6.
I started learning about my poems, Fish's Flu. I was in Form 2, if I don't know. So, wow, and you, what
is poetry? What I'm doing is actually poetry. And then I had to ask him, where to from here? Then he was like, okay, see me Monday, Exen. I did that. Monday he gave me Monday he gave me a piece of paper and he was like, I want you to recite that poem tomorrow assembly.
In front of Pamgabantu?
Yeah, in front of the student. And I was so happy. I was so excited. It's okay. At least I'll be doing something, And I did recite.
So, Papanyana. And you should be scared. You should be nervous.
I was the quiet student. I was the quiet student. But then, I was excited because, when someone discovers your talent.
Or something that, and given, go say you have this situation at home, no one is looking to discover anything from you.
No one cares about my feeling. No one has ever asked me, Gogoti, ever since you lost your dad, how have you been? So, when Mr. Dlamini showed up to me, I actually saw him as a father.
How did you process losing your father? I'm sorry to go there, but I've also had a similar experience, not just, but not being about me. But how did you process that?
It actually took me some time to even accept Kokuti Babagasekho. Because
you were young.
Yeah, I was young. And in reality, it actually clicked when I was doing Form 2, Kokuti Babagasekho.
Right. But yeah, I still feel like sometimes when I discovered you were young, but I mean, I still feel like this thing we are being prepared for them before they happen. I feel like the preparation because Guami, it was like I've always known that I had a responsibility, but I wasn't aware of it because
Okay.
but it's something in me I've always known. Given there was a time where fine, I wasn't getting everything, but I was getting all the basics. But I was still responsible given that. I was still responsible and I had chances of doing this and that, but I was still content. And until such happened where I had to step up, then I realized I was being trained for such a time as this. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have known, but I then realized later that, okay, I was being built for a time as this.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
just have that guiding angel. I don't know if it's a guiding angel or it's just that inner guidance, like guide when you was not. You'll get to such a time and you are being prepared for it unknowingly.
Unknowingly. Yeah.
So after reciting the poem,
After recite
given
and
that.
be like, after reciting, I actually gained a confidence in
Oh,
myself
okay,
because I was someone who was struggling with a low self-esteem.
okay,
To the extent it would say I would just be alone. Um, when something small yendega, I'm there in my corner crying. I'm someone who is very suicidal, all those kind of things. But after reciting, because it was not a once-off thinging, it was something which I would do once in a week. Like, let's call it, let's say I recite.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay.
such that even if there are certain school events, I'm there reciting.
So it became a thing.
It became a thing. I'd say we would say that on its own, it actually gave me the confidence.
So in every event we are there, does that affect your schoolwork? And Mage,
Yo,
is she supportive kule poetry route yakho losoyiqalile? Okay, yes, fine, it's a therapy for you, but is she understanding that?
um, okay, at primary, my mom didn't know about poetry. She didn't know ukuthi I'm even
Ugibela stage yona kanjona ukuthi isikole sonke silalelayo.
akatelofashe umntana ngangiyamcala primary. She got to even know nangse high school
Okay.
because I remember in high school I was doing form 2. Nakhona ngingumvala ufika early esikoleni ngabo 6 already I'm in class mina.
Why?
Yo, I was someone nje lo, now the confidence. I was someone who wanted my own space.
So you're still in the process of
I'm still
finding who
in
you
that.
are and where do you fit in?
Yebo ke. So ngangifika ngabo 6 esikoleni ngihlala eklasini, do nothing, just
So
sit or even write.
where do you do your high school?
I was doing it at St. Michael's High School.
St. Michael's is this a girls' school? These people. Okay. So in a girls' school. Okay, but anyways, let me ask you. Oh, being you now, knowing what you know, kuti girls' school, kwendekalan. So primary actually you were in a mixed school, no man
They're going mixed. The St. Michael's Primary, it's mixed.
it's mixed. So knowing what you know now, and let's say you have a position as a minister of education, would you suggest ukuthi Eswatini abe na more separated schools noma kube nama mixed schools?
Yo, okay, judging from the things that have been happening in my former school, I would actually suggest mixed schools because
I mean, it's only girls. Why the harm could there be?
thing is, like with a school lesnebamfubanye, I'll make an example nje. But I didn't want to say this. That is why you find more young girls laba in one school when they see out other schools maybe ngibekise solution.
Yes.
Because bekwatiwa nje ukuthi Mike's a solution and all that.
Yes.
That is why you'd find those girls sebaba wild when they see boys because they don't get
to mix, so the emotions
mix.
they just run wild.
Uh-huh.
And they just feel like, oh, I didn't know I feel like this, or I didn't know I felt like that.
So
But same thing I'm going to ask you. Because now it's like a prison. You're all people of the same gender. Does that encourage, do you think, in a sense, that encourages lama relationships, or female to female, if it happens?
yo,
Bamfana maybe it also introduces that because all my time, if I go adolescence, lots of concept, what's people of the same gender, sebaba nema relationships.
it actually does happen.
It does.
Yeah, talking from my experience, there was a time whereby I actually got approached by a girl,
Okay.
whom I'll not mention.
All right.
And ngendlela lemvo lena nginyanya ngayo. Ngavela ngakwata.
Okay, so what does she say to you? Oh, unganani at that time? Unganani yena?
Nga-form 2 and kufika uyefika nakhona nakefika, like someone you're not close to, nifunza naye la classini, but akwento nje nicoce.
Okay, when do you realize that the mntwana is actually approaching me? Because you girls, you guys need soft, and when do you realize what's
Ucala ngekukunika ama-gifts, kancane kancane, I bought you some chocolates, I bought you this, and in my mind I'm like, oh okay, maybe someone ufuna kuba ngumngani or what, yabo, but not realizing ukuthi, oh okay, yena, she's into me. So then boom, fast forward, now she's telling me that she has feelings for me, and I'm like, hayibo, ngavele ngakwata, like I lost it.
Sure.
I'm shagging bam.
Really? Was it your first time being violent at school, Mama?
It was my first time. And ngumshaka ngempama even told you ukuthi now your office ubatshela ukuthi ngushayile, ubatshela ukuthi ngushayile.
Okay, EMIHLE, uyashayana naturally.
No, angishaya.
It was that incident.
It was an incident leyavela nje at that time. Angishayani otherwise. Actually ngizange sengilwe. So, and then like I actually got angry to the point whereby my classmates were like, ukwatiswa yini because lo muntu kutela kubila kwendile.
You could have just said no.
Like, people having that idea vele ukuthi ngangivele ngathi no instead of kumshaya. But to me, I felt like kuthi no, it won't show her ngokuthi how disgusting this is game. Yabo. So that was when I actually lost it. And nangifika khangitshela make about the incident, she's like, "Na umshaye kancane." My mom is someone lotsandza ma fights. Like,
so you get it from her.
My mom.
So you're starting to think, because maybe I got this gene from here. No, it's just snap and.
Like, but then it's not something.
So after her, did someone else approach you?
No one.
They were like,
No one. Mina like esikoleni people bebangangikhulumisi. Like, I was someone very bengabakhulumisi, ngihlalela in my corner, quiet, and all that. So I was that person.
Okay, what do you do now that you understand with EMIHLE? What do you do?
When
not changing EMIHLE, who are you? What do you do?
Who am I? What do I do?
Okay, now we understand what are the things that you do? Are you an actor? Are you a musician? Okay, you said you like poetry.
I'm a poet.
Have you pursued poetry?
Yes, I have.
What else do you do besides poetry?
I actually I'm a host of a podcast, Youth Affairs, njengoba I mentioned.
Shout out to that. Let's go check that out.
I'm also, I'd say, a worshipper in church, obviously.
Okay.
I'm someone who also motivates.
Okay.
Yes. In terms of other things, which I do on the side, baking.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, well, before we get into anything else, I think I know you from 2 years ago or a year ago.
2 years ago.
Part of your passion was into acting. Or tell me a bit more about that. What did that race and
I was someone who actually loved acting. Actually, I still love it, but like, I was really interested in it, but then I
Okay,
then got disappointed.
Okay, you got disappointed.
Yo, I
I
got
thought
disappointed, Jim.
what happened?
And to the extent I could sing as an atuba. You know, like when you want to pursue something, and then there are people lababona they can take advantage of you, especially sexually. Yabo.
So
It's
is that
something.
what happened?
It's something. Yeah, it's what happened. You know, like the person wanted to sleep with me, but then said no.
Wait, is it for a role or is it just now we're here? I'm making advances on you, or
He was
is it?
actually making advances for me, and
But it happens everywhere. When you are
I
with
cannot
guys
mix
and
business with pleasure. No.
so because I want to believe that it would have been a superior. Ndiyaqonda ukuthi bese uba disappointed because mina nawe nangabe we're on the same level and I make advances on you. It's because I want you. It has nothing to do with the acting lesitelela.
But now he's superior, and you see someone look kumele ngabe uyamtrainer,
Okay.
or someone like kumele ngabe ubayilida kuye, and then you're telling her how cute she is. You're telling her ukuthi you have a great destiny, blah blah. I love you. What? You know, to me, kwangivele nje kwangikhipha nje, because I felt like kungibita kwakhe there, it was kuthi nje ufuna kulala nami. It was not kuthi probably he saw a potential lenganginayo, yabo.
Okay, if he's watching this show, what would you like to say to him?
Yo, I hope you have changed.
Okay.
I hope kwakuthi there are no young girls labakhala ngawe with what you are doing, because with what you did give me, wona le industry,
Right.
and wonela even the people labakule industry, because kulukhulu nje ukuthi utawufika Butsiya athi I'm an actor, I want you to be part of my production, ngimthembe.
Right.
Yabo. So I think it's one thing which the people labakuleyo industry kumele babambisane ngiko and raise an awareness on it.
Okay. Okay, EMIHLE, going on from that, when do you find out Nyarogotse, I'm a Christian? And what are the things lo botenda before lo besunga satendi after that?
When do I find out I'm a Christian?
Basically, Angithi, you said you're a worshipper, which means you are born again as a Christian. Right?
Yes, I am.
So when did you?
It was I was actually doing my Form 4.
Right.
Nakhona, I had to go through a certain challenge,
Okay.
which actually had to draw me closer.
Well, I like how
to
your
church.
challenges always elevate you. Because it's been like that. Your life has been like that. You
Yeah,
get
my
a
life
challenge,
has
you
been
become
like
a
that.
better. Basically, Mina, I like how your challenges elevate you. Because from what I understand, your life has been like that. Once a big challenge hits you, you become a better person. Once a challenge hits you, you become a better person. So, what is this challenge that turns you to God? And
I was actually doing Form 4. That is when actually poetry, it was like booming. You know, uyafika head teacher in class, EMIHLE, they are asking for you. You have to go with milestones for a poetry competition. And in my mind, I'm like, meaning join a poetry competition? How? I didn't. And only to find ukuthi by that time it was my manager, my former manager, ngifakile kule poetry competition, so I had to go there. And ungilandzile esikolweni, got in the car, sambe. And then unfortunately something happened in the car. He became touchy, and
the manager.
Yeah,
Right.
he locked the doors, and I just went blank. Cause na info naindwa ngumuntu ungagazi, and it hits so hard. I just went blank. He took advantage of me in the car. and ekubeni ende logo, he kicked me out of the car.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sesithute naseMalkens. Bese sitafika Princess Polile Hall. That is when where he actually took advantage of me in his car. So after that, he kicks me out of the car. I had to get out. One, I'm not okay. Two,
So you are deserted now.
Yeah.
He took you from school that you are going to a poetry session, and this happens, and he kicks you out, and wow, he drives the car off. Normal, what does he do?
He drives the car off. And I had to walk ngingene lapha Princess Polile Hall. And luckily enough, there was a lady there whom I actually called my mommy, Semi. There was Semi by that time. I had to call her. And when I called her, didn't explain what was happening. Didn't tell her what was actually going on. Can we just go? That's what I said. And the minute to now say, can we just go? But on stage, Babita EMIHLE. I had to leave.
So you didn't go to stage, no man.
Didn't go. Didn't
So
perform.
anyone asked why? What do you say?
I couldn't even explain. I never explained. I never even told people why I just left. And I just left and I said to myself, let me close this chapter.
So were you scared of him, or were you scared of the embarrassment that comes afterwards, or you just felt like it's something you don't want to go through?
Something which I don't want to go through, especially when it's someone lotsi usebenta ne-youth, someone in power.
But didn't you feel like it's happening to someone else? If you let it go, or just the emotions they just couldn't allow, would say.
At that time, I never even thought of that. Ngaleso sikhathi ngangicabange mina ukuthi, what will people say? Will they even believe Nambatshela?
Yeah.
And I also don't want to go through the stress, that was what I actually thought. And let me just close that chapter, and only to find Goguti deep inside, I'm actually hurting. Because never told anyone Goguti Kwendegani, and it took me some time to even talk about it.
So when you finally get to be able to talk about it, was there some action taken? Did you find justice?
I talked about it when the same incident happened again.
To you? By
Yeah.
the same person?
No.
Okay.
By a different person.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
A pastor.
Really?
Yeah.
The same people who are supposed to help you are the actual. Well, do you think this thing is happening every day to a lot of people and just kept under wraps, or?
It is happening to a lot of people. And to the extent even people inside church now we are reporter or a young person reports such, they defend the pastors.
So, do you get to a point where police are involved, the system, the law, or it was just something that you? Oh, really?
I tried.
Well, people were arrested, or
no
one get to. So you didn't get justice, and
I tried organizations, I tried the police, I tried, there was a lot that I tried.
From what you think, what was the reason that you can't get justice? Is it because you couldn't report it in time, or?
It's not a matter of you couldn't report it in time, but it's a matter of most people, they tend to protect lama perpetrators ngokuthi they have a certain status. If the perpetrator has a certain status and you are EMIHLE coming to say, yeah, this person did this to me, eh, they don't actually believe.
Yeah.
And there are a few people who will actually stand by you and believe.